welcome to another episode of Hooks and Dice. I'm Leila Croca, and this week we're going to talk about the differences between being a DM and being a player. We're also going to talk about my newest crochet project. We were going to do the roses and grapes scarf, but I was on Facebook today and I saw a fabulous idea, and so I have to put the scarf on hold because I am going to make a doily wheel cover for the spare tire on my Jeep. Yay! I'll share a link to the pattern at the end of the episode, but I'm really super stoked about it. I saw the picture and I'm like, I can do this! I want to do this! I have the yarn to do this. So, I'll be using variegated yarn in a rainbow color, not the one that's up there, but the one that managed to be in the living room while I'm recording. So, still working on the blanket, very close to being done. The only reason I'm still working on it is I managed to get sun poisoned while I was going to Idaho to pick up my daughter. Lovely, fun times. My skin is like a lizard. It's not pretty. But I'm getting better, and so I'm back to crocheting again, and I should be done with the blanket tonight. And then I'll be able to block it and send it on its merry way to my friend. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is story perspective, whether or not it's obvious when I'm trying to make clues or give hints to my players. There are times when I think, oh, it's so obvious, they'll just zip right through this and no one will have any problems. And not only do they not do that, but they do something completely different. And I'm like, but I had this plan, And it's fun, it's still fun, because they do manage to get hints every now and then, and sometimes it's a matter of, oh, well, you did this so very well, I'm going to give you a clue. And other times they stumble upon it themselves. But when I'm a player, it's the DM does a great job of balancing the clues and hints. We had a puzzle that we had to complete, and the answer lie in using binary code. And I'm not that much of a geek. I don't know how to do binary code, so I had to leave that to my fellows, but I do enjoy the puzzles, and I do find that things that he thinks are obvious tends to be obvious, so I'm still working on that as a DM. As a player, I find the balance great. He does a great job, but, I'm a new DM, so I'm still learning the ropes. Playing one character versus the entire world is huge difference, obviously. It's hard to keep track of everything as a DM because, obviously you have to take care of the players, the NPCs, the monsters, all that good stuff. And as a player, I'm only taking care of 2 characters, 1 per campaign, but it's still tricky because I end up mixing up my bard with my tank, and it's ridiculous because I'll try to use spells and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not the right character. So it's kind of hard to keep track even with just 1 character. And moving the story along, oh, that would be my daughter. Bless her heart, she's got a cough. Don't mind her. Moving the story along, I'm told, is not really the DM's job. My fiancé said it's your story, or it's your world and their story. So, but I still have to, every now and then, I have to say, so what are you guys doing now? Because otherwise it'll be sitting there with crickets, cree, 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 nobody's doing anything. And the same thing happens with the campaigns that I'm in as a player. People will just stop talking and I feel like, well, are we going to do this? I don't want to be pushy, but at the same time, I don't like it when we just sit there and nothing's happening. And speaking of keeping track of things and moving the story along, there's the time dedicated to mundane things. The Monday campaigns, we are playing homebrewed by our DM, and it's characters that are commoners with very little money and very little equipment. we've had to scrounge around. Not that it's like post-apocalyptic or anything. He just started us with very basic characters. And so it's really rewarding because we have to earn all the traits and feats and stuff that people would naturally be awarded from their class or racial abilities or that sort of thing. So it's a little bit more satisfying once we've learned these skills through our characters. And but the thing is, our campaign on Wednesdays, we are high-level badasses. We've got everything we need. We've got all the kinds of spells and traits and feats. And so, being lower level, you're having to count your coin, you're having to think about weight, you're having to think about, space, whereas just about everyone has a bag of holding or efficient quiver in the other campaign. So it's more important to keep track of the mundane things and spend time on them in the Monday campaign than it is in the Wednesday campaign. And I would say there's a balance in my campaign on Fridays, because they're not badasses yet, but they did get to start out higher level than commoners. They had more money, they had more equipment, that sort of thing. And what I enjoy the most about being a DM is making the maps. I found that I love making the maps. The artwork that I make, I use Photoshop, and I will use references online if I can't find, what I need for the artwork, and I'll make my own. But Roll20 also provides artwork that they find around the web, and you can use that, and I incorporate both into my maps, so they kind of look seamless, and it looks like a pre-built map. I'm really kind of proud of it. So, what I love the most about being a player is the time just before a battle, where everyone's going, okay, what kind of buffs can we give each other? What kind of weapons are we going to use? What's the most effective plan of attack? I really find that prep time to be almost more exciting than actually playing out the battle. Because, we're such a team, and this is on the Wednesday campaign mostly that I'm talking about. We're such a team that it's like watching a well-oiled machine, in action. On Mondays, we have team players, but I wouldn't really call us a team. We're individuals working together for a common purpose. But I think the difference is that we all came from scratch, and so we're still kind of every man for himself. We only just started having a party loot system, whereas before it was take what you find and it's yours. So, we don't have that teamwork in the battles as much as we could. And so, but on Wednesdays we do, and that's my favorite part. My least favorite part as a DM is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where we're having to nudge the players and get them to do something because everyone's just sitting there. I don't like having to do that. I feel like I'm pushy, or that I'm, just being impatient. I try not to be. I don't think I am, but I might be. I have to ask my players. And it's actually the same thing as a player. My least favorite thing is having to push the story along, and I feel a little more comfortable doing that as a player because, like my partner said, it's our story, so it's okay for me to help nudge people along there. And generally, we don't have as much trouble on Wednesdays as we do on Mondays, because we've been playing longer, and two, we all know each other outside of the game on Wednesdays, whereas on Mondays he had to recruit players through Roll20. So they're people that we have met as far as gaming, but we don't have any social contact with outside the games. So, oh, here we go. Now I'm crocheting hair into the blanket. That's cute. So the wheel cover that I'm going to do is not the pattern that I saw on Facebook, but it's a traditional doily pattern, I would say. And a lot of people were talking about doing it with nylon. Well, I don't really have access to that much nylon cording. And I do have a large hook. I have a size P, so I could manage that. But, you know, it would be very difficult for me to get that much nylon cording, like I said. So I'm just going to use regular yarn, and we'll see how clean it ends up. We use the Jeep for work, and it's in an orchard, so it's going to get dusty and it's going to get dirty, but hopefully it won't get too bad, and I can always replace it with another one with a different design later on. I had a lot of trouble finding a pattern for it. I found all kinds of sites where there were people showing off their wheel covers, but people were being stingy about sharing patterns. I did find one on Ravelry eventually, and it was an adapted doily pattern, which is what I was looking for. And I do have a collection of crochet magazines that I inherited from my grandmother, and they have some traditional doily patterns that I could have adapted in a pinch. But it's nice to have been able to find one online that someone's already worked out all the kinks in. So, we are going to have a giveaway at our 50th subscriber. I am planning on crocheting a set of dice. And they're going to be big. They're going to be a couple of D20s. And, you know, like fuzzy dice that you can hang in your rear view mirror. So, spread the word, get your friends to watch and subscribe. Not only will it get the contest rolling, but it'll give us more reason to have more content and more episodes. So, when we get to our 50th subscriber, I will put all the names in a hat and randomly draw it. And the person whose name I draw is the one that gets the dice. And there'll be more giveaways later as we get more subscribers. But, you know, we gotta start small. Gotta start somewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day.